Alright guys, I'm going to give you a quick rundown of the SSTO. I just got back from a trip to Duna carrying passengers with the full refuel and landing, and no vertical thrusters, no parachutes, and glided in at about 60 meters a second or less, and it was fine. So I'm going to try to keep this short and sweet. Pardon me if I talk too fast, just going to kind of give the broad idea here. For you SSTO guys, why I've been tweaking with them for a long time, and you know, maybe I've picked up a couple of things, and maybe hopefully you'll be able to take something from this to apply to yours. So anyway, we got around 40 tons, 38. The highest I can get it is 44, depending on how much fuel I put into it. When I went to Duna, I filled it the whole way, 44. Some of these I have emptied, and it made it the whole way there. I didn't need to refuel until I got there. So I got a little bit lower, you know, I can get around here to Minmus and everything with just what it has. Let's see, we have a Mark II cab, the inline cab. Okay, it's better heat resistant. The one that's right off the bow tends to get hot pretty quick, so I go with an inline one, and then I can put something else on the front that's better for heat, especially like these shrouds. Put that in the front, and that resists heat a lot better, so it's going to make re-entry a little bit easier. I don't like the Mark IIIs. I've made a few SSTOs with the Mark IIIs, but they're just big, and they seem to be overkill. And then with SSTOs, it's not good. What do we got? We got an inline clamp here, so we can dock. We have two whiplashes. I went for those over the rapiers. Rapiers are kind of the standard, and they're the easier ones to use. But whiplash will give me a little bit more thrust at sea level, and I don't have to bring oxidizer with me. I've got two nukes, a couple pre-coolers, and that's pretty much it. Couple air brakes, nice simple craft inside. All right, I got a refinery, a thermal radiator, a larger solar panel. There's a drill right there that sticks through the bottom, a couple ore tanks, and all my RCS controls are inside the cab. These things produce quite a bit of drag, so put them in here. They're not going to do me any good while this is closed, but the only time I really use those is if I'm docking, so I'll open up this bay, and then that way I can have access to my RCS. Now, I've drained all the oxidizer out of everything, other than I left a little bit in this tank for like if I were to dock. I'm going to use that oxidizer for the RCS. Let's see, other than that, simple. Really well balanced. Make sure your center of mass is ahead of your center of lift. And then test it empty and full. Drain all the tanks and make sure it stays forward of the center of lift the whole time. Because if it starts coming back, then you're going to have a hard time landing and coming into atmosphere without losing control of the craft. So this one's really well balanced. It pretty much stays exactly right there the whole time. Try to move wet mass back and dry mass forward. So if you can, move engines forward and fuel tanks backwards, and that'll help you keep that the way it is. Landing gear, try to keep it just about underneath or just behind center of lift. If it's too far back, you're going to run on a runway and you won't be able to lift. Another tip I have is practice. Do a couple runs with your craft, see how you like it. Once you get it where you're happy with the way it glides, with the way it handles, then go through and take off snap grid, toggle snap, take that off, go to rotate mode, and you're going to do a very, very fine rotate, starting with the back wings all the way forward, and you're going to rotate the front of the wings up, and you only want like 2-3 degrees. You can see how mine are slightly tilted up in the front. All the way up, just a couple degrees, no more than 4 degrees. And the point of that is to create a slight positive angle of attack. So there's a positive climb rate, and that's going to help make up, it's going to provide a little bit of lift to make up for the drag. So that way we can keep a 1 to 2 degree or so positive angle of attack. Okay? I got canards on here, and we'll do, okay, so how I set up my elevons. Okay, so for your vertical, trim, this is doing your yaw, right? The pitch roll is deactivated. Authority limiter's up to you. Don't go more than 100. If you have a hard time controlling, turn your authority limiter down to like 40, 50. So that one does yaw. So pitch and roll are deactivated. On these rear ones, the outside. Whoops. Let's put that back. The outside ones are doing roll. And I got them turned down to 40. Only roll on the outside ones is the way I found that this craft handles really well. Turn the authority down to 40. Most of my results I'm getting with the very first few degrees of adjustment. And I don't want to overdo it. The inside ones, I'm doing my pitch. And I got the limiter up to 60. Okay? For these canards, I got them turned off everything. We're going to use those in a little bit. Okay, so I got them turned off to everything. That's basically my craft, and let's launch. My stage groups is my main whiplashes, and then firing the nukes, and then last. I put a couple drogue shoots on there. I just added those after the doing a mission because that was just so prickly. I'm going to put these drogue shoots on there in case I ever try to do something like that again. It's just, that took a long time. And I hate gliding down to a planet surface for 15 minutes and then crashing. So those are my backup next time I try to do that. On my action groups, I've got the canards. I have the pre-coolers, the toggle both types of engines, and then your standard solar panels, open the cargo bay, deploy the drill, that kind of stuff. But the important thing is have all your engines on toggle action groups and your intakes. Alright, we'll pop our brakes. A couple things I always pull up here. I'm going to lock this so we can see our fuel and everything there. I'm going to pull up our whiplashes because I want to be able to watch the thrust when it drops off. And then I'm going to pull up the canard. I'm going to start this at about 40 degrees, and this just comes with practice. This is going to be providing a little bit of lift on the nose. Right there, extended. Okay, we're going to use that instead of our joystick, because on the PlayStation and the Xbox, it's hard to move the joystick enough, small enough, that I don't create too much drag and cause too much loss in velocity. Okay, so this is going to help me make more fine-tuned adjustments just using this canard, and we'll see that as we go. Okay, so everything's ready, my stage engines are ready, full thrust, SAS on, and let's go. Let those spool up, drop our brakes. If you run out of runway and you can't get the nose off the ground, it's most likely your rear landing gear are too far back. Move them forward a little bit, try that. And then make sure your center of lift is behind your center of mass. Steering off on all tires. Turn down friction control on the front tire a little bit. She's off. I'm going to make my initial kind of adjustments and get it where she's just kind of drifting really well with my joystick. I'm holding L1, so I'm doing fine-tune movements. Oh shoot, I know what's up. We didn't place that. My roll rudder's messed up. Alright, we're just going to turn this off. That's what's messed up. From when I was trying to click on that in the shot, that's why it's wanting to pull to the right. Alright, so here's what we got. The point of this is try to go as fast as my aircraft can go by the time I hit 10,000 meters. You usually don't want to pitch more than about 6 to 8 degrees. So I'm bringing the nose down by using that front canard. I'm bringing the limiter down. You see that? It keeps me from having to use my joystick. full thrust, and this is it. You can't rush this. These getting to orbit in these things could take a long time. So we're just going to kind of get through the beginning stage here and show you what I have. And now we have no, other than my, damn, this is going to be brutal. Let's try to turn it on and see what happens here. We shouldn't really need it, but you can kind of see how the aircraft's wanting to lean just because of that being where it is. My goof up. That's okay. So you can see I'm not controlling the aircraft. It's just doing its own thing. It's balanced. I've practiced this. We're watching our speed. With the whiplashes and with the weight of this craft, this thing can hit about 13 to 1400 meters a second. That's what you're going for whiplashes. With rapiers, you ought to be able to get a little bit higher, maybe. Well, yeah, about the same, but with rapiers, you can hit about 15 to 17,000 meters before you have to switch them over. With whiplashes, you usually can go about 15 as your ceiling. Here we're doing pretty good. So you can see with our canards at the front, that's what I'm using to control my angle of attack. And I'm getting about the max I want to do. So what I can do is I can put this on inverted. Click here. And I control the front lift. Just like that. Okay, so we want to flatten this out. We want to gain some speed here. So I'm going to drop the nose. Here. She's a little wobbly because we got one elevon. Let's see what she'll do. That's my fault. There we go. I guess this will be the ultimate test. If we can make it fly with only one roll elevon, then we're doing pretty good. Okay, so we're starting to lose our thrust. We got decent speed. Okay, so now let's get this nose back up to about 8 degrees. Small movements with the canards. I'm watching my thrust, it's still dropping. I don't want to go past 66 degrees on the canards. That's when they're going to hit their limit, they're going to stall. Because anything past 30 degrees on this game is you're hitting stall territory. And 66% of their total rotation is about 30 degrees. Okay, so I'm watching my thrust is dropping, but I'm watching my speed. I'm still gaining speed. It's starting to slow down. I can pop my nukes. Go, go, go. And I'm losing my whiplashes. I'm going to tilt the nose up just a little bit. Whiplashes are about to go, but we're still gaining speed. And there they go. I'm going to close the coolers, kill the whiplashes. And we're going to watch our speed. We just want to gain speed, or keep our speed in our vertical elevation. Like even that slow progress is fine, because as it gets up into the thinner atmosphere, they'll become more efficient, and we'll gain more thrust out of those nerve engines. So I'm going to try to keep my nose here about 10 degrees or so on this craft. And this is it. Now all we're going to do is we're just going to keep doing this. That's all there is to it. I'm going to keep watching my apoaps. I'm going to keep chasing it until it hits about 80, 75, 80,000. And I'm going to use my canards to control my nose. And just keep it pitched up like that. Okay? That's all there is. I know we're just about out of time here, so I have to stop it because this PlayStation only does like 15 minutes. So we're about out of time. That's all there is to it. Real short and sweet. If you have any more questions, feel free to ask me. So thanks for watching. Bye.